3 million pieces every single day. That is how much fried chicken this factory produces before most people eat breakfast. This facility spans over 40,000 square meters, one of the largest fried chicken operations in the Western Hemisphere. Every piece passes through metal detection before processing even begins. A single fragment of bone or wire shuts the entire line down. Automated portioning cuts 40,000 pieces per HR, each one measured by ultrasonic scanners that map the meat density before every cut. Uniformity is everything. Every fillet must weigh between 120 and 140 grams to cook evenly. From raw poultry to that perfect golden crunch, every step is engineered to produce identical results 3 million times a day. We'll follow every step, from the truck dock to the fryer to the box that arrives at your table, still steaming. It starts before sunrise at the primary processing plant, where live birds become portioned raw chicken in under 90 minutes. Contract farms raise birds for exactly 42 days, the optimal age for tenderness and size uniformity in the fried chicken market. The supply chain begins at contracted farms within a 200-kilometer radius. Birds raised to exact specifications for age, weight, and feed composition. Refrigerated trailers arrive every 45 minutes, each carrying 18 tons of fresh portioned chicken held at 2 degrees Celsius. Core temperature must read below 4 degrees on arrival. Anything warmer and the entire 18-ton load is rejected. Every supplier holds HACC certification, hazard analysis critical control points, verified by unannounced audits 4 times per year. The cold chain never breaks. From truck to cold storage to production line, the chicken stays below 4 degrees until the moment it hits the fryer. Manual spot checks verify the automated portioners every 15 minutes. Technology is only as good as the humans who verify it. 600 cases per hour feed the production line. That is 24,000 individual chicken pieces entering the system every 60 minutes. High-pressure water jet cutters portion each piece to within 5 grams of target weight, more precise than any human hand. Water jets cut at 4,000 bar of pressure, a stream thinner than a human hair that slices through bone and meat without heating the surface. 132 grams, within specification. This piece will cook in exactly 4 minutes and 12 seconds, the same as every other piece on the line. Welcome to the Marination Hall, where flavor meets physics inside tumbler drums the size of cement mixers. The schedule board tracks every tumbler, fill time, marinade batch number, target discharge time, and assigned production line. The complete ingredient manifest runs to 23 items, but the exact proportions are classified at a level this facility takes as seriously as any government secret. The marinade recipe is this factory's most guarded secret. 11 herbs and spices, blended in a locked mixing room by only 2 authorized staff. Only 2 people in this entire facility know the full recipe. They work alternate shifts, so both are never absent simultaneously. Each batch requires precisely measured quantities of each spice. A variation of half a gram per 100 kilograms changes the flavor profile noticeably. Marinade concentration is verified before every batch. Salt content must register between 8 and 9% bricks to achieve proper flavor penetration. The tumblers rotate at precisely 8 revolutions per minute, fast enough to coat evenly, slow enough to avoid tearing the meat fibers. After 12 hours, the marinade penetrates at least 8 millimeters into the meat. Anything less, and the piece goes back for extended tumbling. That amber gradient tells the whole story. 12 hours of slow tumbling driving flavor, deep into every fiber. 3 tumblers in rotation ensure continuous supply to the breading line. As one discharges, the next is already at 12 hours. Each tumbler discharges 2 tons of marinated chicken per cycle, enough for approximately 15,000 finished pieces. Computer vision inspects every single piece, rejecting any that show incomplete marination coverage or size anomalies. The AI rejects any piece below 95% coverage. Bare spots mean marinade didn't penetrate, which means uneven flavor. The breading hall, where marinated chicken meets the three-stage coating process that creates that signature crunch. The dry ingredient store holds over 50 tons of flour and breadcrumb at any time, replenished by deliveries 3 times per week. Stage 1, the dry flour dredge. This base layer creates microscopic ridges that the wet batter will grip onto. The shaker table removes excess flour. Too much coating, and the crust becomes thick and bready instead of light and crispy. The dredge consumes over 2 tons of seasoned flour per Saas-Hift. Fresh flour is added continuously to maintain consistent coating thickness. Under magnification, the flour layer shows a rough, textured surface. Each tiny ridge will anchor the wet batter in the next stage. Stage 2. The wet batter curtain. A flowing sheet of seasoned egg and flour batter cascades over each piece, sealing the flour layer beneath. Batter viscosity is checked every 30 minutes. Temperature and humidity changes affect consistency, which directly impacts crust thickness. Color swatch number 7, the target shade. Anything below 5 looks undercooked to customers. Anything above 9 suggests overcooking. 320 centipoise, roughly the consistency of thick pancake batter. This number is the difference between a coating that adheres and one that slides off in the fryer. Stage 3, the breadcrumb tumbler. Coarse Japanese-style panko crumbs create the large irregular flakes that shatter when you bite. 3 layers, 3 textures, all engineered to produce one sound. That perfect crunch that keeps customers coming back. 60 meters of breading line. Every piece travels the same path, receives the same 3 coats in the same sequence, at the same speed. 30,000 breaded pieces per H-hour flow toward the fryer banks. A golden river of chicken about to meet 350-degree oil. The in-house QC lab processes over 300 individual tests per Saas-Hift, covering microbiological safety, chemical composition, and sensory quality. The moment of transformation, room temperature chicken meets 177-degree oil. The violence of the reaction is what creates the crust. 4 minutes and 12 seconds in the oil. Not 4 minutes and 10. Not 4 minutes and 15. Precision timing determines crunch versus burn. 120,000 liters of frying oil across 6 units, maintained at exactly 177 degrees around the clock. 6 continuous fryers running parallel, together processing over 18,000 pieces every hour at full capacity. The ideal freezing curve drops core temperature through the ice crystal danger zone, -1 to -5 degrees in under 8 minutes. Fast passage means small crystals and better texture. Oil temperature is monitored to 1/10 of a degree. A 5-degree variation across the fryer length would produce inconsistent crust color. Fresh oil enters the system continuously. The blend of fresh and seasoned oil actually produces better flavor than pure fresh oil alone. Golden perfection. 177 degrees for exactly 4 minutes 12 seconds produces this exact shade every single time. Internal temperature must reach 85 degrees minimum. This piece reads 87. Safe, juicy, perfectly cooked through. Line stoppages cost roughly $4,000 per minute in lost production. Operators are trained to clear jams in under 15 seconds. 3 layers of crispy coating surrounding 12-hour marinated juicy meat. The engineering behind what feels like a simple bite. Frying oil chemistry is a science in itself. Free fatty acid content, peroxide value, and total polar compounds are all tracked to determine oil lifespan. The oil itself is continuously filtered and recycled. Fresh oil is added at a rate of 800 liters per H-hour to maintain consistent frying quality. Oil quality is tested every 2 hours. Total polar compounds must stay below 24%, or the oil batch is replaced entirely. Every truck is tracked in real time. A temperature excursion of just 2 degrees triggers an automatic alert to both the driver and the logistics coordinator. The cooling tunnel extends 40 meters, enough distance for each piece to stabilize at the target holding temperature before packaging or freezing. The cooling tunnel brings the surface temperature down from 170 to 65 degrees in 90 seconds, stopping the cooking process precisely. Computer vision checks every piece for color uniformity, coating defects, and size compliance, rejecting at roughly 2% rate. The AI grades crust color on a scale from golden to burnt. Anything outside the acceptable window gets pulled before it reaches a customer. Yesterday's swab results show less than 10 colony-forming units per square centimeter across all 60 sampling points. Well, within safety limits. Environmental swabbing happens every 4 hours, testing for salmonella, listeria, and general microbial counts at 60 control points across the facility. A single positive pathogen test shuts the entire production line for deep cleaning, costing the factory roughly $500,000 per incident. Restaurant kitchens receive the chicken pre-marinated and pre-breaded. The final frying step is the only thing that happens on site. Blast freezing at minus 35 degrees locks in moisture and flavor. The faster the freeze, the smaller the ice crystals, and the better the texture when reheated. That frost layer seals in the crunch. When reheated, the moisture escapes outward through the coating, recreating the fresh fried texture. X-ray inspection catches what metal detectors cannot: bone fragments, glass, stone, and even dense plastic as small as 2 millimeters. Consumer panels of 200 people determine whether a new product launches. A minimum approval score of 7 out of 10 is required to proceed. 8 pieces per family pack, 20 per catering box. The counting machine portions with 99.7% accuracy at 200 packs per MU. Modified atmosphere packaging replaces air inside each pack with nitrogen, extending frozen shelf life to 12 months without preservatives. Oxygen below 1% prevents oxidation that causes freezer burn. The nitrogen atmosphere preserves texture and color for up to 12 months. The factory's energy consumption equals that of a small town, over 12,000 megawatt hours per year, keeping the fryers hot and the freezers cold. Every package passes through metal detection and weight verification, the last safety gates before the product enters the cold chain. 12 retail packs per case, 60 cases, per Pascalet. Each pallet represents roughly 5,000 individual fried chicken pieces ready for distribution. The robotic palletizer stacks 80 cases per minute, each pallet built to exact dimensions for maximum truck loading efficiency. The frozen warehouse holds up to 3 weeks of production inventory. Over 60 million pieces stacked at minus 18 degrees Celsius. 2 million by 3 in the afternoon. 1 million more before midnight. The rhythm never breaks. 300 refrigerated trucks per week leave this facility, delivering to supermarkets, restaurants, and food service distributors across 4 countries. Peak dispatch hour moves over 200 pallets. Roughly 1 million individual chicken pieces heading to 4 different distribution networks simultaneously. The cold chain extends from factory freezer to retail display case. GPS, temperature loggers track every shipment in real time. On any given evening, roughly 800,000 people across 4 countries are eating fried chicken that left this factory within the last 72 hours. 72 hours from fryer to freezer aisle. The customer sees a simple box of frozen chicken. Behind it stands a 40,000 square meter operation running around the clock. The customer sees a simple box for $6.99. They don't see the 60 hours, 12 processing zones, and 3 million daily pieces behind it. But frozen retail is only half the story. This factory also supplies over 12,000 restaurant locations with fresh fried-to-order product. Restaurant-bound chicken chips fresh, never frozen, marinated and breaded at the factory. fried on-site in pressure fryers that lock in moisture. Pressure frying at 100 kilopascals forces moisture back into the meat as it cooks. The secret behind chicken that is crispy outside and impossibly juicy inside. Under pressure, steam generated inside the meat cannot escape. It is forced back inward, keeping the interior at roughly 100 degrees while the exterior reaches 177. The difference is physics. Pressure frying retains up to 25% more moisture than conventional deep frying at the same temperature. Holding time maxes out at 30 minutes. After that, the crust begins absorbing moisture from the meat and loses its crunch. Unsold pieces are discarded. The 30-minute rule is absolute, no exceptions, no extensions. Chicken past the timer goes straight to waste, regardless of appearance. From fryer to customer in under 2 minutes, the final leg of a journey that started 60 hours ago at the factory. Back at the factory, the R&D kitchen never stops innovating, testing new marinades, coating textures, and spice combinations for future product lines. Each new flavor variant undergoes over 200 internal taste tests before consumer panel trials begin. Most concepts are killed before they leave this kitchen. Crunch is measured scientifically. A texture analyzer quantifies the force needed to break the crust in newtons. The target is between 12 and 18 newtons. New formulations undergo 12 rounds of blind testing before they reach consumer panels. The development cycle for a single new product takes 18 months. Environmental compliance is non-negotiable. Oil-laden wastewater is treated to drinking water standards before discharge, processing over 2 million liters per Dalton Y. Spent frying oil doesn't go to waste. Over 4 million liters per year are recycled into biodiesel fuel by contracted processors. The energy footprint is massive. Heating oil to 177 degrees and then freezing product to -35 requires over 40,000 kilowatt hours per Dalton Y. 24 hours a day, 3 shifts, 7 days a week. The fryers never cool down, and the conveyors never stop. Every Sunday, the entire breading line shuts down for 8 hours of deep sanitation. Surfaces are swabbed and tested before production restarts. Every gasket, belt, nozzle, and bearing is disassembled for Sunday sanitation. The line is rebuilt from parts each week to prevent microbial harboring. From receiving dock to shipping dock, a linear journey of over 800 meters through 12 distinct processing zones. Today's production, 3,112,000 pieces. Line efficiency at 96.4%. Quality reject rate at 1.7%. 800 workers across 3 shifts keep this factory running. From fry cooks to food scientists to forklift operators, each one critical to the 3 million piece target. 3 million. Before most people finish dinner, this factory has already fried tomorrow's supply. 800 meters, 12 zones, 60 hours from raw chicken to finished product. 3 million perfect pieces every single day. At 2 in the morning, the fryers are still running. The night shift produces the same 3 million pieces with the same precision as the day crew. The trucks are already moving, carrying tonight's production to 12,000 restaurants and 50,000 supermarkets across 4 countries. 1 piece, 11 spices, 3 coating layers, 4 minutes 12 seconds in oil, 60 hours from farm to plate. 3 million pieces a day, 12,000 restaurants, 50,000 supermarkets. 1 factory that never sleeps. Right now, as you watch this, the next 3 million pieces are already in the fryer. If this process fascinated you, subscribe and turn on notifications. We go inside a new factory every week. Next time, inside the premium chocolate factory, where $80 per kilo cocoa beans become $200 bars.